You're listening to a Meatsmith Harvest. This is the podcast that encourages and equips you to grow your home around the harvest. Welcome, Meatsmiths. This dialogue picks up where we left off in our last episode's conversation. You can find part 1 on our website, YouTube, or iTunes. If the content resonates with you, please consider supporting our team by going to patreon.com/Meatsmith and donating a small monthly pledge. This goes directly toward more free media headed your way. Thanks for staying tuned for part 2.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention is on January 9th, you're going to be going to Fort Nisqually
yeah.
Living History Museum, which I think we've talked about before. And you're doing a butchery demo, and I think it'll be like a morning or an afternoon or something. But they're really good hosts there.
Yeah.
And if people want to sign up, it's very affordable. They make it really affordable, and it's a beautiful place. And Jim Lauderdale is the director there, and he does a great job.
Yeah.
Really trying to put together what it was like.
Yeah, it's really authentic stuff. He's always trying to figure out how could we kill a pig here, which is tricky with something that's run by it's something like the Seattle Tacoma Parks District. Metro Parks.
Yeah. I don't know if that would fly.
Yeah. You have to, you just gotta massage it a little bit. It's educational.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's January 9th. Okay. So whenever this podcast airs, keep that in mind if you have that open on your calendar, or even consider it for future years in January, because you've done it for 3 years now?
Yeah.
I mean,
quite a few times.
So
that's great. It's a lot of fun because we get to do things totally old school. I indulge. It's a living history museum from the 19th century. So it's 1860s, Fort Nisqually, the original reconstruction, and even some of the original buildings are there of the Hudson Bay Company's outpost here, originally in Vancouver and now in Point Defiance. And so I get to fully indulge in my nostalgic pig butchery, which basically means turn the entire pig into bacon.
Yeah.
That's generally what you do, because pork is synonymous with bacon. The pig killer, or the traditional itinerant guy that went from town to town harvesting pigs, he was known as the bacon curer.
Oh.
Even though he killed, cut, and cured, and did all of it, he's a bacon curer.
Yeah.
Because that's the primary yield from a pig. And so that's what we do. We even get historically accurate about it, and we harvest Berkshires.
Oh, okay.
Which, according to the records, were the first pigs raised out here by the Hudson Bay Company. Being a British company, they would definitely have British pigs. And they've got records of that, how much ham they ate, how much bacon they ate, salt that they ordered, mostly to outfit people for Alaska and further northern explorations and such.
Yeah.
For trappers and traders.
Okay.
But
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a question that we can spend quite a bit of time on probably for the second half of this here recording. This comes from one of our members, and it's a wonderful question. It's quite long, but I'll just read it and you can pick it apart as we can. Okay, so this gentleman is one of our members. He lives in Minnesota. Friends, I am in the process of purchasing 10 acres of pasture with a couple of dilapidated outbuildings. On an acre in town, I presently keep 3 milking does and 10 laying hens and a rooster, and I raised 4 pigs. I also have, so he reminds me of kind of a lot of people that listen here, including ourselves in some ways. I also have a 25 by 75 foot garden.
Nice.
Yep.
That's not small.
Yeah. But half of it is in shade. I'm looking forward to the upgrade in space so that I can scale things So this
to the 10 acres.
Right. So that I can scale things and start some new things. Everything is principally for my own family. I have 5 kids and extended family often over for dinner. So he hosts family a lot. But I'm also interested in anything that can also be profitable on the side. What are your recommendations? What would you scale? What would you start with? What would you start with more space? If you have more space, what would you start with? And what have you found to be most profitable on the side? I'm thinking things, so those are 4 different questions, but I'm thinking things like 1, increase my goat herd and keep a buck so that I have a more consistent milk supply and breeding can stay in-house. 2, a big batch of broilers in the spring. 3, more specialization in terms of pig breeds and work toward farrowing so I don't need to buy feeders. Yeah. I know, that's what I thought too on that one. Hold off on that one. 4, beef. 5, greenhouse so that I can extend my growing season. I live in Minnesota. Oh. Okay, I don't have any idea about things being profitable on the side. So he's just totally new at making money on this. I don't think I could sell goat milk, but I can easily sell kids. Yeah. I can process pigs for a handful of friendly buyers, but probably not too many. An egg stand at the end of the driveway with produce to the farmer's market is also very feasible. Any advice?
Wow.
That's a nice, long, open-ended question.
Yeah. I mean, the tricky thing will be keeping it on the side. That beginning condition.
Right.
So if you're slaughtering, these are just mine. I do not have experience with making a ton of money off of the farm, but if you're going to be raising pigs and slaughtering them yourself for people, it's tricky to keep that on the side. Because you're going to want infrastructure to do it efficiently, and if you're not going to do it with infrastructure to do, particularly the slaughter, that's what I'm referring to. The slaughter, if you're not going to invest in the infrastructure to do that efficiently, that it's going to take a lot of time, and you're going to not be recompensed for your time, I think, in the killing and the cutting. And then you're going to have people who get picky. And given a rudimentary, simple backyard pig harvest, there's not a lot of room for pickiness, nor for accommodating it. It's a little ridiculous. So, but, that can be preempted with you preempt their pickiness by offering very explicit things and no choices.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But all that to say, if I were to do a pig thing on the side, unless you're willing to put up the infrastructure to make it efficient for yourself, I would see if there's a local custom slaughter guy. If you really want to go this, which I know is hard to hear, especially for me, that's ridiculous. Hire someone else to slaughter. But as far as it panning out purely and remaining a side gig, that would be helpful. Unless, of course, you're going to keep it at a very low volume. So if you're going to raise 2 pigs and sell 1 every year, then just do it yourself.
Right.
I would say. And as to farrowing, and I'm jumping all over the place, but if with the farrowing, breeding pigs, unless they're guinea hogs, unless they're a small frame pig that you don't have to feed that much, it's going to be a crime of passion. It's really hard to farrow pigs on a small scale and not just lose tons of money.
Yeah.
It really, in fact, I've only known people who've gotten out of pig breeding. And I can say that pretty universally.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. Let me interject.
Unless it's what they do for a full time and they sell a whole bunch of pigs all year.
Yes. Well, no. There's a couple different methods of breeding. And the ones that we know that have gotten out of it are just doing, I don't know the names of the breeding. Is it line breeding? They're doing the 1 sow, 1 boar.
Or 2 or 3 sows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're kind of putting all their eggs in 1 or 2 baskets.
Meaning, really keeping a couple sows for several years. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that line breeding?
That's not specifically what that describes.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But they just, we know them because it's constantly like, yeah, I tried, the boar is not doing the job, or she got sick, or now I got to do AI and AI didn't take, or something.
Yeah.
And as opposed to this other system that you told me about, do you want to talk about that at all? Or
I could, yeah. I mean, I don't have any experience doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically family group breeding, where you could start with 5 pigs, 2 males and 3 females, weaners. Don't castrate the males. Let them all grow up. And I can't remember what it was, about 7 months or so, 6, 7, 8 months, all the females will be impregnated. And then you kill the males, the 2 original boars. And then all the ladies farrow. And then about 2 months after they're farrowing, and they'll be kind of big. So what is this, 12 months old or so? The ladies will be almost a year old. You harvest them, and you just grow out the progeny without castrating the males. And you just keep doing that. But you're breeding brothers and sisters rather than daughters to fathers. Right. Which tends to keep things a little more diverse. You can always bring in other blood, but I don't have any experience with that. Okay. So I don't know. It makes you kind of a slave to the farrowing schedule, which is hard to tell because there are no external signs of a pregnant sow. Apart from, well, she didn't go into heat this year. It's just, you can't tell. Yeah. You could get a ultrasound, but that's ridiculous. Okay. But anyway, yeah, those are at least are the challenges that I see in the pig realm of things. But if you keep it small,
yeah, I mean,
and you got neighbors that aren't picky about, wanting, can I have more spare ribs this year? Or I don't know. And you will certainly find that, your efficiency and how much this is actually worth it to you to do changes radically if you make sausage. Like, are you gonna make sausage for people? Holy smokes. Are you gonna are you curing bacon for them? Yeah. Are you wrapping it? Or are you just offering whole sides that they can come and pick up? The processing end of things gets very costly. As someone who has built a butcher shop over the years, processing takes time, and it requires big equipment unless you keep it real small scale,
Yeah. Or, what are your children like yet? Are they teenage sons? Maybe they could get into it with you. Or if they're just small kids and you're totally, doing this on your own, then maybe steer away from that. Although we have our friend on the island, Stella Maris Farm, and they do pigs on the side. Right. They're a dairy, but it's taken him a while to kind of dial things. Yeah. So he has,
and he's made some investments. Like he's got, the same grinder we have. Yeah. And he built a smokehouse. Right. And that's because, they're a goat creamery, but they have built into it the economy of feeding all the way from the goats to the pigs. Right. And he does some custom slaughter, and then he trailers to USDA slaughter. Yeah. And he's able to make that work. Especially in our region. It depends on how close you are to a city where there are people who make money. We are close to Seattle, so we can get high prices, or we can charge what our pork is worth.
Here's a distinction.
We're able to do that, which is not everywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Yeah. Does on the side mean you are farming full time and this is one of your 5 legs of the farm? Or does on the side mean you have a full-time job and you farm on the side? That might make a difference too on what you pick. Yeah. Because this gentleman we're speaking of, he is a full-time farmer. Yeah. And he
is?
Well, no, I'm talking about Colin.
Oh, Colin is. Yeah, right. It's still the Mars.
But pigs are still on the side for him, I would say.
Yeah. And he's got sons. His oldest son is the pig farmer.
He's a young man now.
He's in charge of feeding them. Yeah. He's in charge of the pigs. pretty much 100%.
I don't know. I don't feel quite as down about the pigs as you, but that's because I'm not outside much.
I know I'm being very jumbled and negative about it.
Well, it's the tail end of our busy season, so we're a little tired.
But
I think there's a lot of people that do a like you said, keep it small, a few pigs, maybe 3 at the most.
Yeah, and I would think of it more, I mean, the way that my brain works is more about recouping feed costs. That's what on the side means to me, rather than making a profit. Like you're selling a few sides of pork or even a few pigs to offset or to pay for the feed, to pay for the ton of really nice organic hog mash that you bought the pigs that year. It might be the case. So in terms of setup and infrastructure requirements, the broiler option is way, way better.
Okay.
Just from the perspective purely of the setup. So, I mean, you can rent a plucker locally probably, but you can also buy one pretty affordably. And it's good to have killing cones, but also that's not expensive. And a pot with a propane burner. And a sharp knife and a table.
Yeah.
And there you go. You can do 200 birds in a day.
Yeah.
And sell all of them. So that's like a 6-week turnaround.
Yeah, that's short.
The feed is expensive if you want to buy nice stuff. They'll eat a ton of it. And but everyone knows how to buy a chicken, a whole chicken. Everyone knows how to roast a chicken, and there are no options.
It's true.
Don't give people the option of, do you want me to part your chicken out for you? Do you want whole? I mean, you could if you're an extra nice guy, but I wouldn't do that. That can be pretty good. That can be pretty good. You know what? It only takes a little bit of time in the spring out of your schedule if you just do one batch a year.
Yeah. I would say also consider doing things that are unique, like the goat kids. If he's already got a bunch of goat kids.
Yeah.
And you have a nice video on that inside membership where you show how to harvest them and make them look nice for eating.
How to depellate them. Yeah, I mean, I think though ultimately with the goat kids where that works is with people coming to your farm and slaughtering the goat themselves. That's really where the goat market is.
Oh.
In general in the country. Supposedly it's the meat that is in the highest demand in the nation. And
in the nation?
Yeah, in the country. And that's because of people from North Africa, from all over the world, lots of Muslim countries.
Well, it's the most commonly consumed meat in the world.
It is, yeah. But when they come here, they keep their feast days. And they need goat for that.
Right.
And they need to kill it. A lot of them.
Oh, right, yeah.
To be halal or even, I guess, kosher in some cases, but more frequently halal. Or just for their recipe, they might want to drown your goat kid with vinegar. That's a thing. Don't do that.
We don't recommend that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's a thing. And that is a risk you take, is people coming and slaughtering goats in all kinds of ways that you might find not cool.
Yeah.
It happens. And then torching the hair off, which stinks a lot. But the demand is significant. It's there for goat meat. Even Eastern Orthodox, they'll want goats for roasting whole. And sheep for their posh.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Goat meat. I mean,
I think there's a demand there.
Yeah. I thought of rabbits. Because that's one thing we're not doing anymore, and I miss it.
I know, they're awesome. But that's a whole new project for this guy.
Yeah.
To whom we're giving very jumbled advice.
I guess I'm just
But if he's milking goats already, you need kids. So yeah, get a buck.
Yeah.
Get you a Boer Kiko buck. One of those, a meat breed. And breed it to your long, lean dairy does. And I love the meat dairy cross goats. They're so delicious. They do have some vigor, I've found, and they're long and tall and muscular. They're beautiful. They dress out beautifully. And there is a demand for those. And again, the setup for goats in terms, if you are going to do your own killing, that is simpler than for pigs. That's a lower input in terms of infrastructure.
Is beef a good turnaround for a small scale?
That, people, the demand for beef is easier. People buy beef because beef is synonymous. I remember when I used to sell at the farmers markets, and steak is synonymous with beef. People would say, "Do you have steak?" And I'm like, "Well, I have pork steaks and some lamb sirloin steaks." And what exactly? No, like steak. What do you? And I had to pull it. Oh, you mean beef? You mean the flesh from a bovine? That's what steak is to you. Okay, which I get it. I mean, that's how it appears. So beef is almost synonymous with meat. So that should be, but it takes a long time. If you're gonna get a nice big cow, that's 2 years, right?
Right.
Growing it out for 2 years. You could probably get away with a smaller, slightly thinner beast at 18 months or less. Especially if you give it some grain, it'll plump up a little bit. Beef are the one thing that's easy about beef is keeping them. They're super docile. Oddly enough, I have found. Now I've only raised goats. I haven't raised beef, but it seems to me like beef are actually much easier to fence and to keep than goats. So if you can keep goats, beef are easy. One lazy, drooping hot wire, they will totally respect that. Beef tend to be pretty easy keepers. Need a lot of hay. They eat a lot, and it takes a long time to get to maturity. And it's quite an infrastructure investment if you are going to slaughter them yourself. You're dealing with, if you get a really nice cow, a really nice beef, you're dealing with a 400 to 600 pound carcass. Which means live weight is, 800 to 1,500 pounds. Just depends on how long. They can be humongous. That's it's the kind of thing where if you shoot the cow, that is where it lies. Does not move. Unless you have mechanical assistance and substantial mechanical assistance, like a tractor. To drag it to where you're going to process it. Whereas a goat, not so. A lamb, obviously chickens, even a pig, it's a pain, but you could drag that thing. A cow is just a whole another equation of volume management. And the yield is not as high. In all of this, when you're selling the meat, it would be pretty important to articulate it as shares and articulate it as selling, you're getting everything, all the bones, all the meat. Because you don't have a place to store all that extra stuff or extra fat. Butcher it as a meatsmith should, which is 100% yield, and then the customer gets 100%. So even if you're wrapping individual bones for them, that's what they're getting. That's part of the share. You're getting stock bones. Because a lot of a beef carcass is bone. Way more than a pig. And you don't want to be saddled with all that excess stuff, especially if you've already raised a couple of beeves for yourself.
How many people do you know you would say truly share your back to the land values, or your passion for home-scale craft meat curing, or simply love the multifaceted beauty of a good meal as obsessively as you do? Maybe a handful? At farmsteadmeatsmith.com, we've created an online community of hundreds of omnivores from around the world and a platform for them to learn from and inspire one another. In addition to our major semi-annual hands-on educational event, The Family Pig, here at our Pacific Northwest homestead, Over at farmsteadmeatsmith.com, we host a purely digital membership program with an archive of film and textual resources years deep now, for you to dive deeper into your food journey with. And both our classes and online program include access to our private community Facebook page for your continued education and fellowship. We've been told that our classes are life-changing and the membership program unparalleled in quality and quantity. To get a taste of our education, search farmsteadmeatsmith.com and our YouTube channel for our free films, conversations, and downloads. Explore how we and other meatsmiths across the globe may best come alongside you, putting the knife in your hand, article by article, and comment thread by comment thread, and can support you in building your home around the harvest. Please head to farmsteadmeatsmith.com today.
Yeah.
One of our members thinks that sheep would be the more profitable than cows.
Mm-hmm.
One can raise about 5 sheep for every cow, and the offspring ratio is a lot better.
It is. Yeah. And sheep are so, again, much easier infrastructure for slaughter. I mean, you could do that pigs on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than cows, especially.
They all have their own pros and cons. Because
yeah.
sheep, you're like taking care of their hoofs all the time. I mean, I don't know.
That's true. Unless you buy lambs every spring.
That's true.
Rather than keeping a ewe. The breeding thing, it seems like an efficiency, but man, it is, if you have a day job, it is pretty much always better to buy the young ones.
Yeah.
To buy the wiener pigs rather than farrow, to buy the spring lambs.
Honestly, that's what we do. I mean, your day job is butchering.
Right.
You're not a farmer by
so
trade.
We don't farrow anything.
Yeah, we don't.
The only thing we do farrow are ducks, but that's because they do it so efficiently I can't even prevent them from doing it.
Yeah.
They lay and hatch, and I have to catch up with the killing. I would say too, when I think about selling things on our farm, I thought we were gonna sell duck eggs.
Oh yeah.
You know, because I do have that kind of wired.
Yes.
Such that it's turnkey, meaning in order to sell duck eggs, I don't have to do anything extra. Like we're just producing the max amount of duck eggs all the time. And even then, we just gave them away. We would just give away extras rather than sell.
Yeah, and I like doing that. I like having the freedom to be able, like if someone at our church is in need or something, I just hand them a few dozen eggs every once in a while, or a friend, like we're giving gifts to people, like there's a couple dozen eggs and they're always so happy. I kind of like having that value.
Yeah, and that's just, again, trying to figure out what it means to do something on the side.
Yeah.
That is a very challenging concept.
Yeah.
Because if you have any kind of scruples, you're going to want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's not on the side anymore. One factor that I think about is what will the land do? So it really depends on what your 10 acres are.
Yes.
Is it grass? Yeah. Then maybe stick a cow or sheep on there because those are the grass eaters. Is it bramble? Obviously that's more for goat or pig. So whatever will require the least compensation to raise because the land isn't suited to it, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to raise a cow in a forest, you're going to be buying tons of hay. So that would not be a good idea. It's very basic, and I'm sure he's already thought of that. But that's why I don't raise Mangalitsa pigs. I have no nuts in my forest at all, and the whole point of them is to eat mast and create oily fat that is super delicious. That's not what we got. So I don't raise Megalitsas. And I don't have a cow because we don't have grass.
We tried coonies.
Right.
And that just didn't work out so well.
Yeah, they were shipped from another state. So I think that they came into an environment in which they had no immunity to anything. And so they were unhealthy for other reasons because it certainly wasn't husbandry. Man, fed them well.
We bent over backwards for those suckers.
They were good. They were good pigs, but
yeah,
we don't have grass. Again, we live in a forest, and they are grazing pigs.
Yeah.
So it's not a perfect match for us.
Yeah.
Ducks, however, we live in cold wetness, and ducks love it. They love that stuff. They're all over the cold wet. No problem. Doesn't stop them from laying. They can find food in it. They love it. They never get cold. So that's why we do ducks.
The other consideration might be his actual locale and his
clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How close is he to a metropolitan area versus just strictly rural? What kinds of people? Will dictate what kinds of people you have and how willing they are to try new things, or if they just want their really lean pork chops. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
that's true. Yeah, that's really tricky. Unless you have people that are already kind of on board with the kind of meat that you're raising, who understand why you sell it at the rate that you do, why it's worth what it's worth, why the price tag is so high, it's really hard to make it an on the side thing, because you have to sell it to them.
Yeah.
And you can't not sell it to them. You can't just put it out there for, no, look, this is organic and it's, raised on pasture and I harvested it with my own hands. So it's way more time invested, way more value. That's why it's 3 times as expensive as anything in the surrounding region. People they're not just going to jump at that. They have to have some other buy-in, and that's the only reason we were able to sell meat like that at the farmer's market, is because every week I was telling people that story and working with them and helping them cook it properly,
educating them,
which is, it's a major output of energy. And to this day, the reason we can sell the very few pork shirts that we do sell is because they have all this content online. And we put so much time into educating the customer on, this is why we're giving you half a pig head. And so we're at the point now where we don't have to do that. They come to us because they've already found the content and they've bought into it. But that was hard earned. That took a lot of time. And maybe you're in a place, where your neighbors are on board and they're like, no, I want organic good stuff. I don't want to buy if I can help it, my pork at the grocery store. That would be awesome. But if they don't, then it's hard to just offload your wonderful, abundant excess from your own farming to people who do not value it, who are comparing it by price to grocery store pork and sneering at the fat cap that you, in your generosity, left on the pork chop. They will think you're actually ripping them off.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't want to be too down though about
the whole
thing.
So negative. Man.
Well, it's hard.
We're just bringing up all the hurdles. That's all.
Yeah.
That you might encounter, that you might want to negotiate.
Why family farms are far between.
Yeah, and the chicken thing is a good one though, because if there is an animal that people understand as having more value and might expect to pay more for, it is the local organic chicken. People kind of get that.
And it's
on a broader basis.
Very obviously different from grocery store chicken.
It is. It's substantially different.
A total layman could tell the difference.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I feel encouraged. I feel hopeful for this gentleman too, because I was happy to see he has a family, and so that gets me more enthused about any of the details, because I know, it'll work. Whatever he decides.
Because he must feed all 5 children every day.
Yeah.
So it'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did also mention vegetables.
Yes.
And that's tricky.
Which I know almost nothing about.
Yeah, I know. We never sell vegetables, so don't listen to us on this. I just know they don't sell for much.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like
the markup is
a bunch of carrots is just a couple dollars. I guess when I first read it, I did think he should sell pigs.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one that has to kill them, slaughter them, cure them. everything
If
that
he
you
keeps
do.
the volume down,
Here's the thing.
and if he looks for just offsetting his feed costs, I think it would be a good one.
A lot of our members don't have 7 children.
Oh.
So
right.
They build shops.
That's right, they do.
Like we have.
Yeah.
And that's a side hustle job.
Right.
Right? Like a lot of people have their own hustle thing.
Yeah.
This could be that. And it has worked for a lot of our members.
Well, yeah, and most of our members are much more capable than I am. And they can pop up a little 20 by 15 shop.
Yeah.
Wire it.
With a cool bot.
Insulate it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
They can do metalwork.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can't do any of that stuff. So given my handicaps, this is also why we're so negative.
This is a miracle.
But yeah, he could.
I don't know. It's quite possible.
Yeah.
And there are people that that earn not just feed costs, but they have a small, what do you call it?
Profit.
Yeah, just
margin.
Small profit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to be encouraging.
Yeah. I think you could do it.
10 acres is a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, we're cramped on the
There's
2.5.
just management of that.
So yeah.
See, here I am, negative Nelly again. You just got to manage that stuff.
People should ask this question in
Spring.
June. Yeah.
Yeah. This is when I'm all hopeful.
It's just like muddy out there right now.
Literally, the sun does not peak over the firs. Actually, the sun on our property, it's behind the trees all day, every day.
Okay, and here's the other thing about our location too, which we're just realizing is it's kind of the end of the rainbow. It's the end of the western expansion. So it's still kind of wilderness.
Yeah.
It's like there's no driveway.
Driveway? What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I go.
We have a dirt road.
Yeah, I'm just now rediscovering things that civilized Americans have had for generations. Like, what was the thing that I was out telling you the other day? Oh, a microwave.
Right.
I was like, imagine, because I was heating things up on my
3
iron.
skillets.
Yeah, my 3 skillets for lunch, and I'm like, what if there was a thing where I could just pop it into and then it would just like heat. And I wouldn't have to wash my irons,
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's called a microwave.
we're carving out a living, scratching it from the mud and the fur.
It's a pretty coarse canvas.
Yeah. And I love it.
We're still tanning the hide to become the vellum on which we can write things. Like we're at the tanning hide stage.
Yeah.
Other civilized places, like you already have the vellum.
Yeah.
You can just write on.
Yeah.
We're still killing the calf.
Yeah.
To make the vellum.
And part of it is our gosh darn convictedness to do things the hard way and learn.
We have to start in the 17th century and then experience the evolution of technology on a personal level with every process until we get to the present era.
Yeah.
But we might want to stop and hang out in 1860 for a while with those tools.
Yeah.
Or something.
But at the same time, we have a podcast too. So
that's true. Yeah, we'll get up into 2020.
Yeah.
Hopefully beyond.
Anyway, is that clear as mud to this gentleman in Minnesota?
I know. That was not.
I mean, this is what we do for a living, is we're trying to encourage people.
Well, how do our pig shares work? I mean, because they do, right?
Yeah, they do.
I'm able to buy the most expensive pig feed on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Which is really good stuff. I'm able to run them in the forest. And I'm able to slaughter them and sell them. And it works for us because I do have a shop. And I can
and
do
we
that.
charge accordingly.
And we charge accordingly. So it works for us for 3 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
I charge accordingly. And most importantly, we have the clientele that can afford it.
Yeah.
Because we live pretty much next to an urban place where people can afford it, or people who do. And then the third thing is we have the educated clientele that buys into it.
Which is partly why we have the podcast too.
Because I would say the shares are on the side for us.
Yes. Yeah, they're not our bread and butter.
We don't depend upon it, but I get extra pigs every year in addition to the pigs that we raise for the family pig class. So those are the on the side pigs, those extras that we'll sell as shares. And for those 3 reasons, they're able to work. They stay a significant on the side, worthwhile endeavor. Yeah. Right? And that's pretty much the only on the side thing we do.
Yeah. It is actually, because the rest of the bulk of our income is, 50% of our income is just custom slaughter and butchery. Yeah. And then about 25% is education. Another 25% is, the other 50% is education.
Cut up.
Half of which is classes, half of which is membership. Yeah. Membership is slightly less.
Just to lay it all out there.
People are interested sometimes.
Yeah.
How it works. Yeah. But we don't have it dialed by any stretch of the means. Like, we're constantly trying to figure out how to.
And I still, I don't know, from a efficiency perspective and from a monetary one, I do love raising pigs, of course. We will always have pigs. But if I were just going strictly by efficiency, when I purchase a mature pig and slaughter that and sell it whole, which is the only time we do that is for the Mangalitas, because I can get them from a wonderful farmer who raises them in oak forests in Oregon, who is excellent at transporting them and maintaining their quality and loves them like his own children. And that's pretty awesome because I can leverage this shop for just that. I don't have to fence them. I don't have to feed them. I just buy them and then slaughter and butcher, cure, and sell as shares. So that's pretty awesome. So, yeah.
But if you're looking to get rich off of it, you might have to.
Does that happen?
Take that priority off of the list.
Getting rich off of it?
Off of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, off of farming, family farming.
Oh yeah. I think
most people. Yeah. Yeah, because
they know that.
Sometimes I look out and the bank account's not extremely full, but we're making ends meet. But I see my kids playing with the animals and on the farm life, and that's why we're doing it. So
yeah, it's a quality of life thing for sure.
Yeah, I think kids are actually made to grow up on a farm.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, if you're able to do it. Yeah. What else? What else is we're getting near our time here. But...
Okay, I don't want to think of any more hurdles.
I think
for him. But
yeah.
We did have a lot of. This is harvest season, so our members are killing pigs all over the nation with reckless abandon.
That's right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Just had someone slaughter 3 Mangalitas. Speaking of Mangalitas, and he has a tractor with a really nice fork set up, and it's a beefy tractor, so it looks like he was able to dip them that way.
Okay.
And it looks awesome. And then we had someone cat built a smoker. It's beautiful. It's very simple. It looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, and Peter built a smoker. Everybody's doing it.
Oh, Wallace is calling me now.
Okay.
Thomasina hasn't woken up yet.
Okay, that's okay.
She has not?
She has not.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. We're almost done.
Ooh. Door slammery. It's a thing.
It is encouraging to see, and I know that some of these people on our membership,
That's beautiful.
They're selling some of these to their neighbors.
Yeah.
And getting some of their feed costs covered.
Yeah.
But also they're fulfilling this magnanimous dream of getting together with friends and
Harvesting animals.
yeah,
And feeding each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
which we need to do.
Yeah. And that's really the value you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
You are building culture
Yes.
in a time when we desperately need culture to order our appetites and elevate our goals.
Yeah, to be human.
Yeah, a lot of people are carrying. I would say when it comes to doing things on the side, you can save yourself lots of trouble, or just reiterate, by not giving people options.
Yes.
That's just a big one. And it's not meanness. It's not like the customer is always wrong thing. It's not that. It's just that the customer wants what you have, but they get confused sometimes because they don't know what it is. They, you know, their reference point, their paradigm is purchasing meat from a retailer, which is just a different thing entirely than from you. So
you are the expert.
yeah. And you know, you don't have to be heavy-handed about it. It's just, this is what we offer.
Yeah.
Our package for this year to your neighbors, our lamb package is 8 chops, let's do 16 rib chops and 2 loin roasts, 2 legs of lamb, 4 shanks, 1 neck, and 4 pounds of ground. Let's do 2 shoulders and 8 pounds of ground lamb.
There you go.
Boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
But can I? Nope. This is what we offer.
Yeah.
But can I just have a little? Nope.
Go to the grocery store if they want those things. Yeah. Yeah.
It just takes a lot
Yeah.
because that translates to hours on
Yeah.
your end.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And if it's on the side, hours is something you're not wanting to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have to do the marketing, the selling, the cajoling, and the comforting, and the meeting people's sometimes misguided expectations about it. You just want to.
Yeah. Well, because for a homesteader to quote scale, you're nowhere near grocery store scale. So they shouldn't even try to compete with what a grocery store offers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just scaling just to be able to offer other people things.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing. Back when I worked at the farmers markets about getting your food from a farmer's market, I loved it. I loved the variety from vendor to vendor. Even in vegetables, this guy's carrots look like this, his carrots look like that. They're both totally different.
Yeah,
I love it. You know, that variety is if you start by wanting to treat the ingredient in the highest and noblest way, that is just pure delight. That kind of variety. So you harvest your lambs this way, totally different from the grocery store, and totally different from the other guy I get lamb from sometimes too. Totally different. But that kind of diversity is inherent to organic things. Organic as opposed to synthetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the certification, but organic beings
to life
do have variety. And that is actually delightful. That's wonderful.
Should not be apologized for.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's terroir.
Yeah.
Right? Like wine has variety.
Yeah.
Even if it's from the same grape. You would never expect it to taste the same from year to year. Come on. That's silly.
Conditions are different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good conversation.
Oh, good.
I would thank you for joining me.
No, thank you.
I'm getting cold.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking straight anymore.
The fire died out.
It's a little cold in here.
Yeah.
And I got 3 hours of sleep last night.
It's 53 degrees.
Is it?
77% humidity.
Well,
That's cold.
I'm a little lighter than I have been I've had more layers of fat on me being pregnant and everything, and so I'm a little colder than I normally am.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the wet cold.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is a different animal than dry cold. We are in wet cold right now.
Yeah.
It feels like it's 39.
Yeah. It does.
The chill factor,
Yeah.
the feeling is 39.
You can receive updates on all our brand new content as it's released by signing up for our email newsletter. Free download of Brandon's thoughts on meat cookery included. Go to farmsteadmeatsmith.com and sign up on the homepage. Thanks again for listening, and keep in touch.